If you're immersed in the world of generative artificial intelligence, you may have already heard about the arrival of Nano Banana, Google's new image model, which is officially called Gemini Flash 2.5 image, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but which everyone already knows as Nano Banana. If you have no idea what I'm talking about and you don't even know what Nano Banana is or any of this, stay tuned because you're about to find out. And if you want to use it and like me, you're having some kind of problem, stick around because I'm going to give you the solution. Let's get started. Here on this page, which is the official Google DeepMind page, you can find the ways to access, through Google, the image generator, which is actually more of an image editor than a generator. Alright, here you can see several of the examples they showcase. For example, notice here that the girls are in a truck and they start requesting changes, like changes to the background, changes to hair color, the jacket, all those kinds of things. Alright, that's what this image editing model is about. Not only that, but we can also give it different images. In this case, if you look, it has combined these two images to create something like this. It's an amazing model, especially because it maintains a lot of consistency, which was the problem we were having before with models like ChatGPT. When you gave it an image and said, hey, I want you to take this image and change this thing, and when it returned the image, because of the type of model it was, which was a generative model, it didn't actually take that image and edit it, so to speak, but rather regenerated a new image based on the information you had given it. So the problem we had with that model was that many facial features would change and people didn't feel identified with the result. Well, that's changed now, and so we can now achieve consistent characters in different images with just one photo, also using Nano Banana. As I mentioned at the beginning, you might be thinking, hey, I want to try it. I know it's supposed to be available for free through Gemini, as they've said, but personally, I'm having an issue when trying to use it through Gemini. I ask it, I upload the image, I'm here with 2.5 Flash. I don't have a paid account, as far as I know. It should work with a free account. And it says that it can search for an image on the internet, but it can't generate this image. Let's even try with 2.5 Pro, just in case that's the reason. I've tried it before with whiteboard, with guided learning, with everything, but it still won't let me. So I'm going to ask it something simple here. I'm going to say, change the color to blue on the sculpture. As you can see, I'm asking it things in natural language just like we humans would. That is, you don't need to work super hard on the prompt. Here it tells me, I'm still refining my ability to generate images. So Nano Banana isn't working for me from here. What's going on? I know that Google has something called astudio.google.com, which I've tried more than once and is very useful. But currently, if you go to the Google astudio.com page, as you can see, I tried to access it, but it sent me directly to this page. What's happening? There are regions where Google AI Studio isn't available at the moment, and as we can see, if we scroll down and look for Spain under E, Spain doesn't show up here. All of these are the countries where it's available, and Spain isn't listed here. And I'll go to the S just in case, but no, as you can see, Spain doesn't appear, okay? So at the moment, you can't use it, neither from here nor from Gemini. I don't know if those of you watching the video right now can access Gemini and try it, but I can assure you from my account, and I've tried with several, I can't. So I'm going to give you an alternative. We can use it via API. According to what it says here, via the Gemini API, these are the regions where it's available. Therefore, in Spain, the Gemini API is also not available. So what are we going to do? We're going to use third-party applications. Here we have, for example, FreePic. If we go to FreePic, we can access the AI suite, and directly from the AI suite, we'll go to Image Generator. And here we have the Google Nano Banana model directly. We already have it selected. It's the first one that appears because it's the latest one they've added. So here it is, and we can try it out. How does this work? You upload a reference image, you can upload one or several, and then you tell it to combine them. Or you tell it to generate something new based on one of the images, right? So what I'm going to do is pick an image. I'm going to pick, for example, look, this is the Artilabs logo we have, which is the Artificial Intelligence Consultancy. In case I haven't mentioned it before, Rocio and I have an artificial intelligence consultancy where we develop training projects, consulting, development, and so on. And if you have, I don't know, anything you need, we're here for you, okay? So, getting back to the topic, I'm going to take the Artilabs logo image and tell it that I want it on a building. So what I am going to precisely say is this. Please place the distinctive and prominent logo directly on top of a very tall and imposing building structure. Just like that, in the Spanish language, to convey the exact sentiment and instruction. I really like when I write things in Spanish to activate the AI prompt. When you activate the AI prompt on FreePic, what it's really doing is improving your prompt to make it as optimal as possible. In this case, with natural language, it would understand us perfectly, but even so, I'm going to select it. And look, it's actually the same photo we uploaded, and we have the building, and it looks spectacular. I've done several before, so it doesn't surprise me that much, but I've done several before, and it's amazing. There's one thing regarding the aspect ratio, okay? Here, no matter how much you change it, it immediately gives you a warning and tells you that since it's in beta, it won't do the aspect ratio 100%. You don't have absolute control over the aspect ratio, just so you understand. I could set it to 16 by 9, 9 by 16 and generate images, but since the one I'm uploading is square, it's gonna make it square. So what happened? Earlier I tried in a couple of tests I was doing, and I uploaded the image of the logo and the image of another logo, and the other logo had a horizontal format. What happens then? Since you can't match the aspect ratio 100%, in other words, you don't have control over that, sometimes it generates the image using the square reference image and takes that aspect ratio, and other times it generates it with the horizontal landscape image and uses that aspect ratio. So for now, we don't have that control, at least via API. We don't have that control when generating the images. As I mentioned before, for those of you who aren't understanding any of this, well, you might be starting to get it now. This is an image generator that lets you edit using input images. So if I go and say, oh, I have this image. Imagine I'm here in a room and I want to remove an object. Well, before you would go to Photoshop and use the clone stamp tool to remove it. Or you would then go to generative AI tools where you could select it and do inpainting, and then they would regenerate something in that area. Now you can just take the image directly, send it to Nano Banana and tell it, hey, erase that thing I don't like, and you click and it removes it for you. So this is amazing, because something that used to take us less and less time now costs us practically nothing. And every image we generate from FreePic, since I have a partner account, and for anyone who has a paid FreePic account, just know that this is unlimited. You can make as many generations as you want. Right now, this is costing about 4 cents per image via API, not quite 4 cents each. So just imagine doing what I just did in Photoshop. How much time would that take you, right? Starting from that point. So keep in mind that you can use this on FreePic without any problem. As you can see, it's working, and I'm going to give you a couple more alternatives. Here you have Fall AI. On Fall AI, you have the model called Nano Banana Edit. This is the one you can use. As you can see here, they give you an example. Besides being able to use it from FreePic and from Fall AI, they've been adding it and will continue to add it to all generative AI platforms. Which is another one that I also like. Well, if you already know this channel, Replicate is one of my trusted platforms. And from Replicate, you also get the same price, around 25 images for $1. That is the same price we have on Fall AI. And here you also have the example. You can add different images and do as in this case, where they took a picture of a bed and put the Replicate logo on the bedspread and all that. All right? Besides that, I'm going to show you one last platform where you can use it. This one isn't as well known, but it's from my friends at Prompt Hero. On Prompt Hero, if you didn't know, I have a course called Content Creation with AI for Brands and Products. It's a course you can see here, all right? And, well, if you're interested in taking it, here it is. And what we have here is that we can use different image selectors. We can use Seed Edit 3.0, which for those who don't know, is similar to Nano Banana style, though not as good. Quen, which also has Quen Edit, Flux Context. All of these are for editing. They're the latest ones they've added, but you also have many other image generators. You can use it from here, and they also have video generators. They have VO3, they have Hailuo, they have 1UN. Here, what you do is you pay to get your credits, and once you have your credits, you can start generating. If you notice, Google Nano Banana costs 2 credits. And what I did was, well, I uploaded an image that looked like a sculpture, and I asked it to change the color of the sculpture. Now I can take, I'm going to show another demo. Let's take this particular sculpture once again, and I am going to utilize DeepL as I previously demonstrated to you, and I am going to explicitly state, look, I genuinely want this sculpture to be skillfully painted by a talented graffiti artist. I want it to explicitly say Nano Banana, and to prominently feature a detailed drawing of a banana. Alright, so let's carefully copy this particular text, then thoughtfully take it over to Prompt Hero, and subsequently paste it here to meticulously run it with Google Nano Banana. We then proceed to generate the image, and as I previously mentioned, the aspect ratio that it ultimately provides us with will most likely be precisely the same as the original input image. If you want, we can check that now. We can put it into Photopea and see if the two images match. While it's generating, I'm going to open Photopea so we can take a look. Okay? And here we have the result of what we asked for. We asked it to paint it as if it were graffiti and to draw a banana. And it did it perfectly. Alright? I'm going to save this one. I saved the image. And the good thing is, if you didn't know about Prompt Hero, the good thing is that you can have your own profile, you can create and generate photos from there. And all your prompts along with the results are saved in your own profile. So if you go to my profile, you can find different prompts with different image generation results. Okay? Here are some of them. And you might say, hey, I really like this image. And for example, you can click here, you can see which model was used. Here it says Stable Diffusion 3.5, and here you have the prompt. So it's really great if you're just starting out and want to try prompting. You have lots of examples here. So that's it. I invite you to check out the page. And with that said, all that's left is to move on to Photopea. Here we have the original image and here is the other one. And we're going to play a bit with the opacity to see if they match. And indeed, they match perfectly. In other words, nothing was made up. If you look, this is the original image and this is the image edited by Nano Banana. And as you can see, they match perfectly. In other words, the aspect ratio has been preserved exactly. And also look, do you see it? It's the same girl, it has the same letters. Here you can see the same Coty Tools texture. It's perfect. Well, actually the texture, the Coty Tools letters seem to be a bit higher. They seem to be raised just a little. But really, it's practically the same image. Edited, obviously. So that's it, friends. I hope you enjoyed the video. You know what to do. Leave a like, comment, share, all that stuff, and I'll see you here again soon. And so, as our time together draws to a close, I extend to you my warmest regards and a heartfelt, comforting embrace. It has been a truly wonderful experience, and I sincerely hope that you carry with you the positive feelings and memories from our interaction. With a final, affectionate hug, I bid you a fond farewell, wishing you all the very